Hello Papercrafters, welcome to another Design with Jo video. You can find me at www.designwithjo.ca. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use your Eastern Medallion Thinlits to make this great sunflower card. So these are the Eastern Medallion Thinlits, and they make fantastic, just gorgeous cards, all layered together with all different interlocking pieces. The ones that we're going to use to make our sunflower is this one that looks like a petal, this one that looks a little bit like a sheriff's badge, I think, and then this one that is a square that has curved edges on it. So those three we're going to need. These two we're going to cut out of garden green, and this one I'm going to cut out of crushed curry. And I've gone ahead and done that for us. So here's my crushed curry. And when you cut out that petal, it stays attached. It actually doesn't completely cut it out. So you'll need to go in there with your paper snips and just give it a little bit of a snip. There's actually a little bit of embossed image right here, and you're just going to snip right there, and it's going to pop right out for you. Okay. So there's our sunflower, and we are going to also use some of our new designer paper. So this is the Wood Textures Designer Series paper stack, and it comes with all different kinds of textures on it and colors, and I chose two that were a little bit different in color. I chose one that has almost a little bit of a red kind of grain to it, and then another one that's a little bit darker. And I've run this through the Petal Burst embossing folder. So this is a fantastic folder. It's one of my favorites. It came out last year. And this is the embossed side. I don't know if you can actually see that great on the camera. And this is the debossed side. And both sides, for the purposes of making the seeds on the inside of the sunflower, are great. So you're going to punch out using your 1 3/4 inch punch. You're going to punch out a circle. Okay. And you're going to glue that down and decide which side you want forward. So I actually want my embossed image to be forward, so I'm just going to give myself some of my liquid glue, and I'm going to place that down into the middle. Now I also have cut out the garden green, so these shapes here, and we're going to make some leaves. So on the one that is a little bit more like a square, we're just going to, you can get 4 leaves out of one of these, which is great. So just clip in, snip in with your paper snips, and on these ones we're going to use 2 together. So again, just create a curve or snip in that triangle like you did on the first one. And on the front of these, although this is the front, this is the back, it's cut a little bit differently. You can see the cut marks on there. So I actually want this side with a little bit of the bevel edge showing. So we're going to make sure that we put glue on there, because that's going to peek out behind our flower. So give yourself a little bit of glue on there, and then just lay that over top so that your flower, your petals rather, are peeking out. And I just like the variety of having the 2 different kinds rather than having just one. Okay, so we'll just set that aside and let it dry, but that's as quick as it is to actually make that flower. So I have another one that's already done here, and we will continue to make the card. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and make our card. So this is a piece of garden green cardstock that is 11 by 4 1/4, and I've scored it at 5 1/2, and I'm going to fold it together and give it a nice crisp edge with my bone folder. I have a piece of early espresso that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and that should be right in the middle of our card and still give us a little bit of a green border. And the next piece is Whisper White that's 4 by 5 1/4. And I've gone ahead and already put my linen ribbon on, my linen thread on here. And the linen thread, the piece is about 25 inches long. And to put it on, before I start, I put a little strip of snail here, and then I start here and I wind it around. And I don't want this to be exactly even, so I can move them a little bit if I want, or a little bit closer together. I don't want it to be just like a line straight across. Once I've done that, then I put snail all the way around, and I make sure that I put snail right over top of the ribbon. That way I know that it's going to adhere really, really well. And that's going to fit right in the middle of your card. So you can put that down. And then all we need is a couple dimensionals. I'm going to actually attach one of my sunflowers with glue. I'm going to put that on the back. And he can go off to the left. And actually, before I go any further and put that last one on, I am going to stamp. So I have the thank you so very much from the Flourishing Phrases, and I'm using Garden Green. Sorry, my head's probably in the way. So put that down, just stamp thank you. And then the last thing we're going to do, well, not quite the last thing, we're going to put some dimensionals on the back. And I usually put 2 or 3 dimensionals on. That way it's going to be popped up all the way and not sag in one particular spot or another. And put that on over top of the linen thread. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is I've taken a piece of our 3/8 inch mini chevron ribbon, and this is the crushed curry, which matches the sunflower. I put it on a mini glue dot, and I'm just going to put that off to the side just to complete the card. So there you have it. There's our pretty sunflower card using your Eastern Medallion Thinlits. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you do, please like it and share it with your friends, and come back and visit me at www.designwithjo.ca.